Hello, welcome back to Furious Driving, and yesterday Quentin, the Rover 216 SE convertible, came perilously close to actually passing an MOT. Only failed on two things, although they were both marked as dangerous, do not drive, or dangerous, fix immediately. One was the windscreen washers and the other was emissions. Now the windscreen washers might sound like the simplest problem, but I've got a feeling that's going to take the most work because the windscreen washer bottle and everything is all hidden behind this wing, and I don't remember what it looked like. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it when the wing went back on again. I was doing other things at the time, not really concentrating on that aspect, and completely forgot about it. So if I need to get a new part, that's the thing I'm going to concentrate on first, because if I've got to order something, I need to get it delivered before the free MOT retest period expires. Secondly, emissions. The car was not dropping back to a slow enough idle speed, so it's idling too high. Normally this is down to either an air leak or the stepper motor, which has got another name, the idle valve thingy-majig. It's got a four-letter acronym, which I'll come back to later. Sticking or being dirty. So I have got a ratchet wrench to take the wing off. I've got some carb cleaner to have a go at that stepper motor, and there is a trick you can do to reset it as well. So I'm going to do a big old clean up, whip the wing off, and let's see where we go. Hopefully you have an MOT by the end of this video. The other thing is I used the wrong bulb. Well, I didn't film it because it's such a minor thing, but one of the fog lights was blown, and I didn't have the correct bulb, so I whacked a stop tail light in there just to get through, because the brake light element works on that circuit. This is the correct one, so I'll switch that over as well. Now fortunately this wing is pretty easy to remove, and when I used this tool the other day, a few people did comment, "What is it? It looks really handy." It is really handy. It's not actually branded. It was sent in by a viewer, so thank you very much indeed. That's enormously generous and very helpful. But I'll pop a link to a similar one. That's like Draper do one that's virtually the same, so I'll pop one in the link in the description below. So if you fancy one of these things, you can see what they're about. There are two you need a spanner for just there. One at the top, one at the bottom, and then they've pop this indicator out. There's one Phillips screw here that slides out, and there's one more bolt under there from memory. Yeah, fortunately these cars are very sensibly made. It's like working in a car from a different era almost. Well, it's a car from a different era. It's designed basically in the 80s into the 90s, but it feels almost older than that because of the simplicity of the way everything just clicks together. How's that got so dirty so quickly? Oh, it's not got dirty quickly. I didn't unplug it last time. Oh, there are two bolts in there. I'd forgotten that. When I reassembled it last time, there are some that were rusty and some that were silver and painty, and I put the silver painty ones where you could see them, and the rusty ones where you couldn't. Slides out from the groove on the bumper there. Oh yeah, and there's a side marker to undo as well. Now here we have spider encrusted the washer bottle hanging in the bumper. Oh, there's the motor down the bottom. So why aren't you working? Let's go and have a look at this thing. I've also just noticed this extra wire down here, and I'm thinking, well, is that a fog light loom? No, one of the horns isn't connected, which is explaining why it is only a single tone horn instead of a duo tone horn. Just grab a key and see if that makes a difference. No, still only single tone. Must be a broken horn. I don't know how this is so oily, but it is. This one was connected to the motor on the washer bottle. This one was hanging next to it, which I thought had a cover over it, but it's actually thick with black goo. Let's give it a quick clean up. Oh, that's actually, oh god, disgusting. Thick with, I don't know, it looks like oil, but I don't see what oil will be down in this part of the car. Disgusting. Love a bit of brake cleaner. Let's get a test meter on this thing in a second and see if it's actually putting power down there to to whether it's a broken circuit or if it's a broken motor. Which means I'm getting 12 volts down the end of this wire, so that's probably a good thing, because it's a lot easier to replace a motor than or trace a massively confusing wiring issue somewhere hidden in the car. Let's have a quick try. Now I've cleaned this up, I might just give it a quick try with the clean wires on it, because it might just make a difference. That'll be a no. Okay, so that means we need a new washer motor down there, which is not a biggie. We can order one of those. Hopefully it'll be with us tomorrow, next day from overnight from Japan, or whatever they do with, you know, proper cars. Right, so the second thing is going to be the emissions. Somewhere on top of this engine is a stepper motor controller, a air idle or an idle air idle control valve. It's this thing here, and these things get bunged up, filled with soot and grime, and they stop working. The other thing it might be is an air leak on one of the hoses. So the quick thing I'm going to do first of all is start the car. I'm going to squirt a bit of brake cleaner around the air intake areas, and then if there's any air leaks going in, it will change the running pattern of the car. I think we're good. I reckon we're airtight there, and slightly cleaner. Right, so I spent a few minutes trying to work out how to get these screws out to remove it from the inlet manifold. The problem is, the two at the top are really easy accessible. The two underneath, even though I've undone this pipe here, I've taken off that pipe there, you just can't get anything in there. You can get the socket onto it, but there's not room to put a driver on the back of it. Now, you may notice that this is in fact not the same day. This is what I'm going to call oopsie confession time. See, yesterday when I was filming this, and I discovered this last night when I was editing it, I was starting the camera, stopping the camera fairly frequently, trying to undo these 4 bolts, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, which wouldn't undo. So eventually I moved on to undoing these 2 small bolts, or screws, whatever you want to call them, just here, to separate this stepper motor idle control valve in order to get in there and give it a good old clean up. Unfortunately, my starting the camera, stopping the camera system got out of sync, and I didn't realise until last night that I had in fact stopped the camera to record taking that apart and showing the world what that looked like, and started the camera to record 20 minutes of me cleaning the drive. Not particularly helpful. However, I will tell you, this thing was so caked with soot that when I opened it, there's like a plungery thing inside there. The main sausage part of it is meant to move slightly, and it wasn't moving at all, and there's like a copper ring on top of it, and I thought it was all one component, not 2 when I first saw it. So I gave it a good clean up. Was surprised to find, first of all, it was 2 parts, second of all, the big long bit actually does move slightly, and it all now moved freely. It was clean. This area here, I gave that a really good clean up, and that was thick with soot as well. Put it all back together again, and then moved on to the next bit. So this is probably the most exciting part of the entire video, and you missed it, sorry. I'm just going to give the alternator a quick clean and tighten that fan belt, because it came from the second-hand car, kind of oily and grubby, and I don't like that squeaky noise it's making on the fan belt. Right, now having rebuilt and cleaned the stepper motor thingamajig, what you have to do is reset it. So you turn it on to ignition on but not started, and then press the accelerator slowly 5 times, then turn it off and then start the car. So let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we fire it up. The idle speed is now 1500 RPM. Just let it get warm and see what happens. Right, it's warmed up a little bit after a couple of minutes, and now we're idling at below about 900 RPM, maybe 800. There we go, it's returning to its proper position. There we go. In the idle test, what they have to do is hold it at 3000 or 4000 RPM for a minute, I think, and then let it drop down. There we go, it's dropping down as it should now. Much better. Simple, a cheap fix, I like that. Right, now let's go and find myself a washer motor. As a little bonus, to stop this thing flapping around all over the place, I just made a little bracket to hold the washer reservoir tank bottle thingy out of the way, because it kept flopping into the side of the bumper and actually pushing the bumper sideways, which is misaligning it slightly. This little groove on the back of the bumper slots, or the wing slots into a little peg, and that holds the bumper in position. So that's an improvement. Right, so I just need to go and find a new washer motor to replace that one, and then we're ready for an MOT. I did just pop that motor out in preparation, just to double check it, preparation of replacing obviously. I'm using a good 12-volt battery. I can test that it is stone dead. These useful clampy wires are actually bits of a dead battery charger which I've binned recently. They're quite handy for doing tests like that. And one final thing before I go and order that new washer pump. This is a brake and stop tail light I stuck in there so it would actually work and get through. And that is the correct kind of bulb that actually wants to be. Right, so just popped out and didn't have exactly the right washer pump, but got a nice generic one which is very close indeed. Unfortunately this just has a standard little pipe inlet, so I've had to make from the old connector from the old pump to some wide fuel line to some narrow fuel line, which will plug into that. Hurrah! That I think is dripping from when I poured it through. I've got no cap on here, and it's a bit of a long drop, so I did pour a lot over the side of the tank. Maybe that was self-filling when I'm on the road. Let's give this a try now. Go on, work, damn you. Right, it wasn't working. I couldn't figure out what the reason was. So I took it all out, took it all apart, make sure nothing's blocked. This has got in and out written on the back of the pump, so you know which way it's going. Out, I would assume, would be out towards the washers. In would be in from the reservoir. So I've now put it the wrong way around. Let's give it another whirl. I can hear it, it's pumping, it's making noises. Lucky it's been raining, nothing's coming out. Why is nothing coming out? I knew this would be the harder thing to do, so I'm now unconnecting each connector in turn to see how far the water's getting. Right, that one's working. That pipe must be blocked. Nothing's coming out of there at all. Where can I get pipe from at this time of night? I just gave this pipe a tug and it was snagged. I think when we had the engine mount off to do the timing belt, it must have got caught and pinched. A second ago I couldn't blow through it. Now, but I can. And it wiggles when I wiggle it, so I think I might have success. Yay! Hurrah! Just put the wing back on, go for a retest. Got ourselves a legal car, assuming the emissions work, and there's no guarantee of that, but let's hope the emissions work. And done. Wings back on, water bottle, I hope still works because I don't want to take the wing off again. Hopefully the emissions are good. So now it's back to the MOT testing station, see if we can get a pass. So now day 2 of the Rover's MOT. Fingers crossed. We've got the washers working, trying to get the engine warm enough that it's going to be a pass. It's not going to fail on the emissions. Hopefully, having reset the stepper motor and cleaned it out, we're not going to have emissions issues today. And yeah, it'll all be good in the hood. Why am I stuck behind old man doing 27 miles an hour when I actually needed to be going quite quickly to clear the cobwebs out of this thing and give an Italian tune-up on the way? This is very frustrating. Alright, let's try and clear the cobwebs out of this thing. It's actually running a bit smoother, having cleaned all that stuff up in the engine yesterday, so hopefully that will be enough to give it the pass we so need.
Hopefully.
That's Furious Junior in the passenger seat.
Stop calling me out.
This This is a pass certificate. This car has got an MOT for the first time since...
Yay, it passed!
Yay! 2013 was the last time it passed, so it ran out of MOT in 2014. It's now 2021, so it's like 7 years off the road. It now runs and drives actually really, really well. The gear change is nice and smooth, the engine revs lovely. I was right with the stripping down the stepper control motor and then resetting the computery thingy. It is raining and I've got no roof and I don't care, it's brilliant.
I do, you idiot.
Okay, that's Furious Junior, who is less excited about driving in a convertible with no roof. He's less into this project than I am, perhaps.
Yeah, no.
A lot less into this project than I am, perhaps. Well, thank you for watching and thank you for sticking with the saga of Quentin, the hateful R8, who's no longer hateful. Quentin is now Quentin Wilson, the good car. We like Quentin now. So next step for Quentin is going to be sorting out the roof. The mechanism works, it's got a good hood, I changed the hood frame not long ago, it's got a good interliner and a good headline, really nice headlining. And I've now got this brand new cover, which I'm just going to find a suitable trimmer person to go and do the gubbins of actually fixing it as soon as possible. Then the car will be drivable in ill conditions. Also need to get an adapter for the radio that someone kindly sent me. And what else do I need to do? Oh yeah, paint the front. Nitro Silvia has got a new bonnet because this bonnet's a bit crusty underneath. So I'm going to get that bonnet fitted, get the wing and the bonnet painted, and then this car is done. And a couple of people have said they'll be quite interested in taking this car on, giving it a new home. I must admit that was a little while ago now and I can't remember what happened to the emails. If it was one of you people, then do drop me another follow-up email so you're kind of first come first served before I put the thing on eBay and shift it that way, because it always was the plan to sell this car on. I know it's going to be actually quite hard to sell now because
I don't want to sell it.
yeah, he doesn't want to sell it, and it's actually quite a nice car now. However, there are other projects. There's other projects in the pipeline, and there's not enough room, and I need to get the money back from it because I have. In fact, tomorrow I will do a video of what has Quentin cost me, and it's a silly amount of money really when you think about what the car is worth. I'm not going to make money on it, but I do have the satisfaction that the car is now complete. Right, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and can share in the joy and pop open a bottle of champagne for me today to say well done, Quentin. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
I don't want to sell it.
Are you still here? Brilliant. Oh, thank you for watching to the bitter end. Well, hat news, yellow hat news specifically. People were really taken with the yellow hats. I'm really blown away with that. I've actually had to go back and up the order slightly because people really were taken with that, and got a few orders overnight. So if you would still like a yellow one, I can still up that order to get another one for you as well. I've shot myself in the foot a bit because I ordered a big bag of these ones and the black ones not so long ago, and now everyone's buying the yellow ones. But if you would like to grab one of these hats, yellow, grey or black, there's a link in the description to a PayPal doohickey. Hit that link and follow your way down there and grab yourself a hat. These yellow ones are the same price as the grey ones. Thanks for watching everybody, I'll see you next time.